concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, guys? I'm Joshua Bardwell. You are gonna learn something today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I want to show you guys what's been going on over in chat, over in the Discord, because where's that? Oh, it's keystrokes. I gotta fix my keystrokes because people have been. Here's how it started. Here's how it started. Hang on. Do this one. Nope. Do that. No. Oh. There you go. So DJ Pop started by posting the Carlton, which, you know, mad respect to the Carlton. Alfonso Rivera, he's always welcome on my stream. But then Thumper posted this video of Ricky Gervais dancing, and that is just no, out. And then we get this, which is Chris Farley, and I think we can all agree that that's not pretty, but it's Chris Farley, so it gets a pass. So that's what we got today. How's it going? Albuquerque, FPV Arborist. Michelle. Wait, it's from Italy. Michelle is really a French. How do you say Michelle in Italian? Ooh, this is a tough one. Michelle Rinaldi. Hi from Italy. Holland. What's up? We'll just do all the shout outs. That's how we'll start the stream. Just with 20 minutes of shout outs. Carrie Corcoran asks, never was actually able to join in on a session. Are there defined topics or open Q&A? Carrie, it's an open Q&A, but I always start with just a little bit of, the talk radio nonsense before we go to the chat. So Scumbag says, I just burned down my garage. Should I quit the hobby? Yeah. Daniel Ruth, hello from Germany. Latvia. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in. This is my Sunday afternoon Q&A stream. Well, it's Sunday afternoon for me, but I do it in the afternoon because you guys in Europe have trouble tuning in when I do it in the evening. So, but everybody is welcome. Sterling Youngman says the pre-show was clearly in the Discord chat. Note for next time. Yeah, I try and give a little bit to the patrons over in the Discord. I'm Joshua Bardwell. This is my Q&A live stream. In case you're new here, you ask questions, I answer questions. That's pretty much how it works. Let me just give you a glance over here. This is my main desktop right here. I got the pleb. We call this the pleb chat. I didn't make that up. Somebody else made it up. And I say it ironically because this is where you guys in the YouTube chat, I always try and answer questions. Some YouTubers out there, like the big time streamers over on Twitch who only do shout outs, so only acknowledge the existence of their paid subscribers. I'm not like that. I help everybody as much as I can for free. And I just, I try and build up that value for you guys. So this is the pleb chat. You can ask me questions in the pleb chat. And I will do my best to answer them. But boy, they go. Look how fast they're going by. Look how fast. Fill up the chat, guys. It's not going by fast enough to make my point. It goes by so fast, I can't answer all the questions. So this is the super chat, and there's a little $sign down here in the lower left. If you hit that $sign, you can send me a super chat. Somebody send me a super chat. Just hit up $1 so people can see how it works. It gets called out here in this window. I try to make sure I almost always answer all the super chats, although every so often I do forget one. And over here on the left, this here, wait, come back. This here is my Discord server. I have a Discord server, and I pay attention to the folks over here because these folks over here are all my patrons. You can join me on patreon.com, link down below in the video description, and I will be also paying extra attention to these guys. People ask, how do I get on your Discord server? Well, I try and keep the Discord server just a little bit exclusive. I make that for the patrons only. So let's get started with the live stream. And the most important, 507RC, the $sign disappeared also for me, and I don't know why. Maybe my payment information is out of date or whatever. Parker Russell, thanks for that. Here, let's make sure Parker's contribution is not wasted. See, Parker Russell here throws us a $2 live stream. Do you love me? Parker, I love you as much as I could possibly love anyone I've never met. In that whole sort of brotherhood of man kind of way. Yes, let's all love each other. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Come on, love one another right now. I could sing better than that. I'm just being ironically bad. So, let's start. I like to start the stream with a little bit of news of the day, news of the week. Just going over some of the things that happened this week. And the first thing, where did my GoPro Hero 8 go? Where'd that window go? Come back, GoPro Hero 8. We'll get to that. The first thing I want to talk about... Oh, there it is. Wait, something has happened. Okay. Sorry, guys. Here's the first thing I want to talk about. And I was on the fence of whether I wanted to actually talk about this or just, not involve myself. But it's the whole point of news of the week is to talk about news. And if this is true, then it's big freaking news. So Tyler Brennan posted on the Race Day Quad's Facebook group, Facebook, yeah, you know about Facebook, right? Facebook group. He posted on the Facebook group, blah, 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 that Race Day Quads has officially become the biggest FPV retailer in the world. In the world. Now, that obviously made a big splash. So my first thought was, bigger than Banggood? Bigger than Banggood? I'm skeptical of that. I'm pretty skeptical of that. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't have any access to sales data or anything. Sometimes people think that because I have affiliations with pretty much everybody. Rotor Riot, Get FPV, makes my motors. Rotor Riot, I have a camera I did with them. I have my flight controller with Race Day Quads. I have my balance board, my parallel board with Ready Made RC. I try and spread myself out because I don't want anybody to think that I'm beholden to anybody in particular. But even though I have all these affiliations, I'm not in the board meetings. I don't know the numbers. I don't want to know the numbers. I don't want that responsibility. But here's the thing. I have affiliates. See, I have affiliate relationships with Banggood, Race Day Quads, and Get FPV. So I feel like I have a little bit of a sense of how many orders you guys are placing, because I just look at the affiliate. I can't see your orders. Don't freak out. But every month I can see like how many orders were placed, because that's like, as an affiliate, I need to know that info. And Banggood, I'm gonna piss somebody off by saying this. Get FPV, race day quads, Banggood's bigger than you guys. And the reason for that is not because Banggood is better or more popular. Get FPV and race day quads are in every sense a better vendor to do business with than Banggood, because they actually have customer service. What the heck? But Banggood is bigger because it's worldwide. That's why it's bigger. Race day quads and Get FPV only sell to the United States. They can ship internationally, but you guys, this is the European live stream. You guys tell me in the chat. I already know the answer. Why don't you order from Race Day Quads and Get FPV? They're so awesome. And the answer is shipping. The shipping kills you. Shipping from the U.S. out. Shipping into the U.S. is subsidized by this International Postal Union thing. Shipping out of the U.S. is not subsidized. It's expensive as hell. You guys would pay as much for a flight in shipping as you would pay for a flight controller. Shipping within the U.S., of course, is no big deal. Exactly, shipping. And the other thing is that Banggood ships out of Asia. So shipping out of Asia into like Europe or whatever is, I don't know about into the US, it's subsidized. And you could pay $2 in shipping to buy something from China. I don't know how that's possible. And so I don't know if that's also true to the Europe, but I think it is. The other thing is that Banggood ships places where Race Day Quads and Get FPV will not ship. Like there are certain countries where if they just get so many lost packages going to that country, they just like, all right, forget it. We're just not shipping to this country. Well, Banggood will ship to that country. And Banggood, it's basically the same to ship anywhere in the world from there. So when Race Day Quad says they're the biggest in the world, I'm like, well, maybe in the U.S., but I don't think you're beating Banggood for the world. No offense. So then, is Race Day Quads the biggest in the U.S.? And this is where it gets really interesting, because he says it's in terms of orders per day, at which point a whole lot of people in the comments went, wait. Who measures size in terms of, hey, anybody in the chat who has worked in sales, if you went to your boss and said, I got 5 orders today, boss, what's the very next thing your boss is going to ask? Okay, how big were the orders? Oh, yeah, no, I sold 5 widgets for $2 a piece. And then in comes the other guy, and he's like, hey, boss, I placed 1 order today. Yeah, it was $10,000. Which salesperson is your boss going to be happiest with? So a whole bunch of people in the chat were like, who cares if you place more orders per day? Why are you proud about that? But Tyler is proud about that. And if it's true that Race Day Quads has passed Get FPV in terms of orders per day, I don't think that's like meaningless. Because I bet you if you look at the number of orders per day among U.S. retailers, I'll bet that Race Day Quads is the only one I would give a shot of even coming close. But is orders per day? Okay, hey, good for you. You got something. You achieved something. But, at the end of the day, if you don't know the dollar value of the orders, then are you really the biggest? Does that really matter? Hang on a second. Let me take a drink here. And Drone Racer, you're correct. Really, if you're judging a business, profit matters more than gross. If you've got a business that does $80 gajillion in revenue, that's fine. But if you don't actually take any of that home, in terms of your shareholders, that matters. How much product are you moving? So the final thing about this that was really interesting is people said, well, Tyler, how do you know how many orders Get FPV is doing? Right? What are you? Well, you got some secret mole? And Tyler's like, no. So Tyler's premise is, and this is not a secret. He said this, I'm not like sharing secrets here. He said this on the Facebook thread. He said, what I track order numbers. When you place an order at Race Day Quads or whatever, you get the email, it's got your order number. He was like, well, I just collect orders when I know, I have, like the little birds in Game of Thrones. He had all his little birds out there. Tyler's basically saying he has people who send him their order, a copy of their order number, and he tracks the order numbers so he can get the number of orders per day. To which some other people came in, and I don't know if this is true, but they said, well, the order numbers are not sequential. So if you're assuming that the order numbers are sequential and that's how you're tracking orders per day, that's not actually accurate. In fact, Brain FPV said that they randomized their order numbers specifically to prevent people from doing this. I don't know if Get FPV has made any public statements about whether they randomize their order numbers or whether the assumption that the order numbers are sequential is true. But so anyway, that happened. I think we can all agree probably that Race Day Quads and Get FPV are the two biggest in the U.S. But I don't know how anybody's going to be able to prove if Race Day Quads is bigger unless revenue numbers and can start coming out. Yeah. Okay, so that happened. What else happened this week? This is the Hero 8. This has come out, not this week, but come out soon. Somebody asked about this in the chat, and so I wanted to cover this in the news of the day. Hero 8, that's cool. It's got all kinds of awesome features, like an improved this and improved that and yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing that pisses me off about the Hero 8. GoPro, what is your problem? Because if we look, hang on, check this out. Look what I got going on this week. Whoa, I've got a desk cam this week. So instead of like just holding things up in front that you can't see, I got a desk cam this week. Whoop, there we go. So this is a GoPro Hero, I think it's a 6. And you see how this piece can be removed? It actually comes off. You may not know this. It twists off. The very first time you take it off, it feels like you're breaking your camera. But you're not. It twists off. And you can get ND filters that slide right on here. Or if this breaks, it's super easy to just get a spare and put it on. And this is so useful for FPV. But then they go, nah, screw that. We're not going to do that anymore. Now, they have filters that slide on, but they're just like friction fit. It's just magnetic. Those are going to pop off in no freaking time. This is a much worse camera for FPV, I feel, than the 7 and the 6. It's really a shame. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Somebody asked about that in the chat, so I thought I would acknowledge that. One more thing. Quick update about Orca FPV. Orca makes their updates privately, but if you go to the Orca subreddit, you can find information about Orca FPV. People sometimes post the backer updates. It looks like in 18 days ago, they have a delivery update plan talking about why another problem they had that has further delayed their delivery. Blah, blah, blah. You can go, I'll paste this in the chat. You can go ahead and read that. But the latest one, where's the latest update? PCBs have shipped and should arrive next week. Orca still has not been able to ship a product because of various things. And I just want to say, when Orca released their delivery plan, I thought, oh, wow, that's pretty aggressive. If everything goes right, maybe you'll hit your delivery dates. But everything never goes all right, and sure enough, it hasn't. I'm really hoping they start delivering product soon, because the real question is, can they deliver a premium analog goggle that gives a better experience than the DJI? Because we're not going to turn this live stream into just a bunch of fawning over DJI, but if this had an analog receiver built in, this would be one of the best FPV receiver goggles. It looks stupid on your face. I get it. But in terms of the image, people are always asking, why can't Fat Shark make a screen with a giant field of view? My Oculus Rift costs $500 and Fat Shark costs $500 and have a much smaller, worse screen. Why can't they do it? And the answer is size. But if Orca can deliver a premium analog experience, then they may compete. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay. News of the week. News of the week. Let's get to the questions. FPV Lovecraft in the pleb chat asks, what do you think of the Caddx Dolphin? Willie likes his because Willie's frame is also called the Dolphin. That's my theory about it. The Caddx Dolphin, is this the one that was... Yeah, no. Here's the thing about the Caddx Dolphin. I haven't tested the Caddx Dolphin, but it's $40 freaking dollars. It's $40. That's all I need to know about the Caddx Dolphin. Oh, wait, wrong camera. Wrong keystroke. It's $40. Here's the thing. Is the Caddx Dolphin as good as a Runcam box or a Foxeer box or a Runcam 5? No. Because if it was, they wouldn't charge $40 for it. If you have two products that are in the $80 to $100 price range, and then another competitor comes out with a better product or a product that's just as good, they will not undercut by one half. They will, let's say your competitor is $80 and you come out with a product that's maybe the same or slightly better, but you want to undercut them on price. So you charge $70. Maybe you charge $65. You don't charge $40 unless the product is worse. If you could charge $70, you would. By Caddx pricing it at $40, Caddx is telling you this is a worse product. Now, the question is it worth $40? I haven't tested it. I've watched other people's stuff, and basically, no. People, I hear all kinds of stories about it freezing, it locking up, it corrupting files. I wouldn't risk my flight footage for $40 for this camera. That's what I would say. Low-tech FPV, I agree with you. Caddx is perfect for night recording. Everybody who's used the Dolphin says the one thing it's really good at is nighttime recording, if it doesn't freeze up and corrupt the file. Why do you want to take a chance on that? Yeah. Scissor FPV, the Dolphin's all right. With a new firmware, mine only drops frames every now and then. No. The whole reason you're using the freaking thing is because you want to have usable footage at the end. Spend $80 and get a Runcam or a Foxeer box. Okay. That's what I would say about that. Kebab also doesn't like the Caddx Dolphin. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna do much with it though. You just use 2 high def cams, says Mr. Tux. That way you have a better chance of coming home with your footage. There's a question in the chat about, I forget who asked it, but about 6S versus 4S for beginners. I got this question twice this week, so let's talk about this. If you're just starting out, should you go 6S or 4S? Here's my take on that. 6S definitely has some small performance advantage. Not night and day, but a small performance advantage. I'm convinced of that. We're not going to go, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Don't. But that advantage, so yeah. But should a beginner go 6S or 4S? I think a beginner should stick with 4S. And the reason for that is that even if you disagree that 6S is more expensive, 6S batteries are coming close to price parity with 4S, but still not quite, I think it's not quite there, especially in terms of selection. There's just a lot more good 4S batteries. But even if you don't agree on price, the other thing about 6S that's a problem is 6S is just more temperamental. It's slightly harder to tune because you have more electrical noise, and I think you're way more likely to pop ESCs on 6S. Whereas on 4S, if you've got a 6S rated ESC and you're running it on 4S, you just have that little bit of extra headroom. I was thinking hard about this when I was testing 6S versus 4S, and I was going to try to see if which direction I would go. I was just about to refresh my batteries, and I was going to buy like 15 new batteries. And I was like, should I buy 6S or 4S? And I ended up going 4S. And one of the things, I talked to Evan Turner, who is, he's a Heads Up FPV is his pilot name. He's one of the fastest racers in the world. He's running 5S right now. And I was talking to him, and I was like, why aren't you running 6S? He was like, 6S is better, but 5S is good. And I just don't blow as many ESCs on 6S. And I was like, oh. So I was just like, screw it, I'm going 4S. For a beginner, I would say 4S. GoPro 5 sessions are refurb on Amazon. Yep, Hubbub FPV. My favorite FPV high-def cam is still the Hero 5 because of its durability. The Hero 6 and the Hero 7 output just a better-looking image in every way, but they break so freaking easy. Mr. Dispar wants to find a GoPro Hero 5 session. You can get them refurb on Amazon for about $100, $200. Yep. Can Crossfire interfere with your video signal? Vicnair FPV in the pleb chat. Yes, it can. Crossfire receiver can cause video noise. You'll know this is happening because as soon as you turn on your Crossfire radio, you get video noise. And the fix is tricky. It could be moving the receiver antennas away from your video. Sometimes it's in the wiring, though. It can be actually pretty hard to solve if you're running into that. Let's get some super chats and the Discord out of the way now that we've answered some questions from the plebs. I'll be back, plebs. Don't worry. But I got to get the people who are throwing money at my face out of the way. Parker Russell, thanks for $2. I got you. Supercell FPV, thanks for $2. Hubbub FPV, thanks for $5. Gmail Mossman, thanks for €2. Thomas, no questions, just shouting out your names. Thomas Roos, thanks for $1. Roll on B, thanks for $5. I got 5 on the pizza and beer. Yay, pizza and beer. John Coelho, thanks for $2. Martin Leicher, thanks for €5. Thanks for your help with the VTX table by email 2 days ago. Oh, thank you, Martin. I help people out by email. If you want to email me, you certainly can. People are like, okay, what's your email address? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make you find it. If you want to email me, you can. But you got to find my email or guess it. You can hit me up in email or Facebook chat. You don't have to give me money. I like when you give me money, but I try to help everybody. I always have. It's always worked for me, and I don't plan on stopping. S. Grace, thanks for 50 Norwegian kroner. How's it hanging, JB? I was just wondering if you've looked into the motors from KO Technologies yet. Demon Seed? I have not, but let's do it. KO Technologies Demon Seed motor. The hell are we looking at here? Oh my God. What is this nonsense? Active choke point compression, which allows to cool the stator. I don't know about that, but this is a cool looking. Okay, so let's just acknowledge this is a badass motor, but I don't like this rotor design at all. This sharp edge here is going to get dinged instantly and throw the motor out of balance. Like, compare this to a Carrera Toa motor. I love this motor design because now there's all kinds of things they say about why this smooth curved motor design is good, but the number one thing I like about it is that it's basically helps spread out. When you have an impact, it spreads out the impact and it avoids there being any one point to focus the force and damage the bell. I think this kind of bell is more durable. Whereas you can see that the minute you hit something, boom, this sharp edge is going to get bent over. I think these motors would get knocked out of balance pretty quick. That's the first thing I think about when I see them. Jivan Tapa is trying to spam my email in the chat. I don't mind you sharing my email, but I do mind you spamming my chat. So, Jivan, take it easy there, buddy. Oh, this window. There we go. Anthony Short, thank you for $10. XJB145. I flashed 4.1. I enabled soft serial. Soft serial port does not appear in the ports list after I save and reboot. Anthony Short, you say it worked in 357. So, Anthony, some flight controllers just don't support soft serial. But if it worked in 357, you know that it should work. What I would say, Anthony, is if you flashed the new unified target, try flashing the legacy target and see if that fixes it. The unified targets on some boards still have a few little quirks, and if you run into those quirks, flash the legacy target, and that's how to do it. If you're not sure what I mean by legacy target, there's two different versions of the firmware. It'll say like Seal Racing F7, and then like parentheses CLF4, and then the other one will say Seal Racing F7 and then parentheses legacy. And those, you flash, if the one, flash the one, flash the other, see if that fixes it. Louis FPV, thank you for €2. And Afro FPV, thank you for €2. Thank you. You got me into FPV and changed my life. That's awesome, dude. That means a lot. Okay. Experimental RC in the pleb chat. What kind of 18650 battery should I use for my Attitude V5 battery case? Honestly, man, you can spend a ton. First of all, don't spend a ton of money on the high discharge 18650s that are like designed for vapors. You do not need high discharge. You want high energy density. So You can spend good money on like an LG or a Panasonic cell, and you'll get like a 3,000 milliamp hour cell, and you'll pay like 15, 20 bucks for each one. I say buy the cheap ones. Just buy the cheap ones. You'll get only like 2,000 milliamp hours. Big deal, but they're going to cost like 1/4 as much. That's what I would say. Harsha wants to know, what's the best way to charge an 18650 lithium ion? I'll answer that question. Hang on, Discord. I'm coming over to you. These questions from the plebs just... What I like to do for my 18650 charger is I just have something like this. This guy here, this is actually the exact one I have. I use this for travel. Or I have like a 4-bay one. I think this is the actual one. This might be the actual one I have. No. It's pretty close, though. This is what I prefer to use for my 18650 charging. The reason, I mean, you can charge them using your regular LiPo charger, but this is just so simple. Just plunk, drop them in, wait for them to charge. No programming or anything, and that's what I like to use. Okay, let's get on over to the Discord, and let's thank the patrons over in the Discord by answering some of their questions. Sergeant Mudflaps in the Discord wants to know, thank you for being a patron, Sergeant Mudflaps. Joshua, question. I'm using Omnibus F4 Fireworks board trying to hook up Bitefrost, but I can't find high enough volts. Where can I connect it? Sergeant Mudflaps, do you mean for power? For power, if you need the voltage, then just connect it to the ESC connector. Connect it to VBAT. It can take up to 6S input. So pretty much whatever unless you're flying like a 10S, 12S Beast class rig, just use VBAT. Connect it to the ESC plus or minus pad or the battery, the XT60 pad. Capstad is happy I was plugged Toa motors. They are great motors. They're great motors. Carrera Toa motors. Some people like the Carrera Talon frame. Some people hate it. The Carrera Toa motors are quite good. I think most people agree. DJ Pop wants to know... Oh, God. Oh, God. DJ Pop wants to know if this is the new Samgook replacement, the TBS Master Pilot. I guess... Here's the thing. For $8, I don't think you can go wrong. These are not spectacular motors, though, but I guess for $8 you wouldn't expect them to be spectacular. I mean, I don't hate these motors for $8. When these motors used to be more expensive, and I wouldn't have bought them. But at that price, sure, stock up. Sure. I think the fact that they're calling it a blowout makes me think they're getting rid of them and they're not making them anymore. I don't know if that's true, but I would be a little like I would buy 8 or 10 and make sure you had spares instead of just buying 4 and then being screwed if they go out of stock. Hello, Calvo in the Discord. Hey, Tom is asking about the Tiny Hawk problem from Facebook today. Tom, you're gonna have to. I got to answer a lot of Facebook messages. You're gonna have to be more specific. Scotian FPV is thinking about starting to use 6S packs on his 4S quad. Scotian, thanks for being a patron. Let's talk about that. It was started recently by Willie, Wild Willie FPV. If you know him, he made a post about how to use 6S packs on a 4S quad and basically just use the throttle limit to bring it down. I'm not sure there's an advantage to doing that, but I don't think it's a disadvantage. If you've got a 4S quad, I don't suggest you just start buying 6S packs and using a throttle limit. But, like, if you have a mixture of 4S and 6S packs, and, like, you finished flying your 4S packs and you broke your 6S quad, and you just want to get those packs used up, or you want to get a few more flights today, I think that's a great... I mean, you can use a throttle limit and the quad will still fly. Scotian says he currently has 35-volt capacitors on the ESC already. Should this be sufficient? Yeah, I think that's sufficient. If you have individual ESCs with a 35-volt 440 UF, you want about, I think you want at least like about 800 or 1,000 microfarads, whether that's on each individual ESC or a single big one. Having capacitors on the individual ESCs actually works better in my experience. So like a single 220 on each of the 4 ESCs, that's 840 in total. 880 in total. That'll do better than like a single 1000 on the XT60. So if you've got 440s on the ESCs, 35 volts is fine. Technically, according to like electronics guidelines, you should double the voltage. So if your nominal voltage is around 25 volts, technically you should have a 50 volt capacitor, but 35 volts is used by 6S pilots regularly without problem. I think you're fine. Yep. All right, so now we're caught up a little bit in the Discord. Tom Loreth in the Discord says, here's a problem regarding oscillations and video noise. Okay, Tom, let's check out Tom's video. Here, let's see what's going on with Tom. And let's unmute this. And let's unmute this. Oof, that's bad. What's going on here? Let's have a listen. Should we turn the volume up? Okay. Is that it? Oh, no, there's more. So we're seeing video noise as... No, Linus, no. Stop. Linus Tech Tips. So this video noise, this banding here, to me... The number one thing that stands out is that this video noise is clearly associated with the RPM of the motors, right? So you often, but usually in my experience, motor noise is horizontal black lines, and thick bands like this are related to a voltage regulator. Usually you'll get diagonal bands. The fact that it's it only happens when you go to high throttle means obviously the motors are related. Unfortunately, the problem is this is a Tiny Hawk, which is just a complete ready to fly. It's not like you're going to swap an ESC, or if you basically just swap the whole board. I guess what I would probably, I mean, we only have so many options. What I would probably tell you to do is check the motors, and if you can, replace the motors and see if that fixes it. My gut feeling is it won't fix it, but those thick bands point to the voltage regulator, and usually voltage regulator noise like that will not be related to motor RPM, because the voltage regulator just is doing its thing regardless of what the motor's doing. But maybe there's some interaction. I mean, how much are replacement motors for the Tiny Hawk? How much are they? They're $10. Oh, that's not nothing. I mean, it would be nice to just buy 4 new motors. And then if that's not the problem, then you have spares. But $40 is kind of a lot to spend on a punt like that. I mean, visually inspect the motors, look for damage. Inspect it, but yeah, that's not normal either. I have a Tiny Hawk and it doesn't do that. Okay. Oh, we got the Discord. We got the Super Chats. Now let's get back to the plebs. Come on, plebs. We are drinking, this is Peach Mango. Crystal Light. Powdered, no Mio squirts today. Mio, sponsor me. This is a Crystal Light. His drink powder. Because everybody's always super interested in what yeah. Wiccan FPV wants to know, wouldn't an improper tune cause video noise if the motors are not filtered good? You're right, Wiccan FPV. I mean, I am assuming that Tom is just using the stock tune for the Tiny Hawk. That's the thing about these ready-to-flies. They have the same hardware. They have the same tune. So when one isn't working, it's usually a hardware problem. Tom, if your Tiny Hawk is brand new and doing that, it would be worth reaching out to Emacs and be like, Emacs, is there something you can do for me? It shouldn't be like this. Yeah. No alcohol today, MC's Creations. Nope, just straight sober. Mitri Mustaklem wants to know if an ultrasonic range sensor like LiDAR would work in Betaflight. Mitri, I know that Betaflight has the capability of using a sonar sensor. Not all flight controllers have an input for a sonar, I'm not guaranteeing that you would be able to make it work, but I know it is possible. I think you would probably have better luck with iNav, because iNav is focused on autonomous flight, whereas Betaflight is pretty much focused on acro and freestyle racing and that kind of thing. Technically, there is support for a sonar sensor. But like, even if Betaflight has the driver to support the sensor, does it actually do anything with the information? I'm not sure that it does. I would be looking at iNav in that direction. Bachgrinders. Hey, Bachgrinder in the chat. Bachgrinder's editing his new video and needs advice for a 90s hip-hop song. Bachgrinder is just trying to get me to play 90s hip-hop music on my stream and get a copyright strike. 90s hip-hop song. Let's see. 90s hip-hop. Let's see what... Let's see. What are the top 90s hip-hop songs? Let's see. 40 greatest hip-hop songs of the 90s. I'm not going to play any of this music on my stream and get copyright struck, Bachgrinder. Nice try, dude. Now, 90s hip-hop. I am a child of the 90s. But I was not that into hip-hop in the 90s. Let's see. I'll Be Missing You. That's a good one. Oh, here we go. Bachgrinder. How can you say no to DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince? Summertime, Bachgrinder. That's only number 30. Let's see if Fresh Prince has anything else on this list. Nope, just Summertime. All right, you got to go Summertime, Bachgrinder. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. That's the one. Oh, what a man, what a man, what a man. That's not good for Bachgrinder, though. Not what a man. Oh, Cypress Hill. I mean, Bachgrinder, I feel like Cypress Hill is a little too on the nose for you, right? Because, like, Bachgrinder, you know, Cypress Hill, you guys get it. I mean, that's a little too on the nose, so I would pass on that. I like to be a little bit more obscure. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't know most of these songs. Here's OPP. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you can't touch this. I mean, that song is going to overshadow your video. That's the problem there. You can't ever possibly live up to using a song like this in your flight edit. See, as we get to the top of the list, it's like these songs are so iconic that you almost would hesitate to use them. Yeah, no, I'm going with Summertime. Summertime by Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff. That's my choice. Thank you, Bachgrinder, for your question in the pleb chat. Run DMC. That's the thing. Here's the thing. You got to watch out when you pick music for your video. It's tricky. So let's say that you don't care about getting your copyright strike. Okay. Let's say you're just like, I'm going to use whatever song I want. F the man. If you pick a song that is too iconic, you won't live up to it. If you're going to pick a really iconic song, you better have a great edit that fits that song perfectly, or the song is going to overshadow your flying, right? And you're just going to look like a chump. So you pick like some Beastie Boys or Run DMC, and it's like, wow, you're aiming high. You better be good. But if you pick something a little more obscure, like I actually really dig listening to the music in Bachgrinder's video. He picks these punk songs and stuff that I like. I'm like, oh, I like that, but I don't actually like know it. So I'm not like, if I'm paying too much attention to the song, I'm not paying attention to his flying. Some would say that's a good thing. But I like Bachgrinder's flying. And so I don't want the song to distract me too much. Do you want to follow, says Tommy Lou. Run DMC is not, it's tricky. No, it's the Beastie Boys. Come on. Come on. Karim wants to know, any updates on your favorite go-to best charger since my Toolkit M8 review that dates 9 months back? Yeah, so the place that you can always go, thank you for that question, Karim. The place you can always go to get my product recommendations, I always keep my website up to date. I can't always make a new video about every new product that comes out, but I always keep my website up to date with my recommendations. So if we go to fpvknowitall.com, which is my website, and then we go to best batteries and chargers. And by the way, some people, like the last time this page was updated was September 28th. That's like 3 weeks ago. And some people are like, oh my God, you're not keeping your website up to date. And I'm like, listen, a brand new best wonderful charger doesn't come out every 3 weeks. When the next best thing comes out, I will sit on it and think, not literally, I will think about it. And if I decide it's the new best thing, I'll update the website. But until I'm not chasing the trends. I'm not trying to sell you guys hype. I want you to. So, if we look right here, for DC input chargers, the Toolkit RC M8, it's 40 freaking bucks. So, like, for 40 bucks for what you get with it, that's a pretty good deal. However, I think a new charger that you guys gotta look at is they updated the, yeah, here we go. The HobbyMate D6 Duo. They have a new version of the D6 Duo that has a DC input supply only. And it's $100. So I think the D6 Duo, it's a fantastic charger. It's a 2-channel. It's got all these yada yada yada. You can watch my review. This is $100. And you don't have a power supply. They also have a version of it that has a power supply, which is, this is $150, $160. I think it's worth it, but not everybody wants to spend that much on their charger. And then Toolkit RC has a new one, the M6, don't they? They have a new one. I haven't actually checked this, but I might. So this M6 is $40. But wait, isn't the M8 also $40? Why would you get the M6 if the M8 is also... The M8 is also $40. Okay, well, this one has a touchscreen. Okay. But this one is 150 watts, so this one is 300 watts. So this one is half the wattage, but the same price. So maybe there's something more going on here, but okay. Nope, the M8. So far, that's the one I'm going to go with. Okay. Anyway, there you go. Sabotage Beastie Boys. I mean, if you're gonna go Beastie Boys, oh, that's the wrong. I cannot hit my freaking keystroke to go to my camera today. Alex, it's Alex can. You're gonna go Beastie Boys. You better bring it. That's all I'm saying. You better bring it. Am I still using my Nirvana NV14? If not, can I have it, Martin Stockings? Martin, I am not using my Nirvana NV14. I've been really disappointed with the customer support for the NV14 from Underground FPV. I've just heard too many stories from people who have issues. And what I do, here's what I do this is a little secret. If you're out there, pay attention. Whenever I post about a product, sometimes there's a person who comes along and says they have a problem with the company. Like, somebody will be like, I emailed tech support for this product and they didn't answer. Like, I'll give you an example. When I posted about the Stinger Swarm frame, the forged carbon Stinger Swarm frame, the poison for Cusco, the poison to kill Cusco. When I posted about that, somebody posted, they said, oh, I emailed Xhover with a problem. They haven't got back to me. Xhover sucks. Here's what I do, because I don't know if that's true. I forward the message to the contact at the company, and I see what happens. And in the case of Xhover, Daniel from Xhover immediately posted underneath that comment. It was like, hey, sorry, we don't know what happened. Let me reach out to you personally and take care of it. And I'm like, okay. Because everybody, mistakes happen. It's how you respond to the mistakes that determines, my opinion. So when I started covering the Nirvana NV14, there were people who were like, Underground FPV sucks. I placed an order. It never came. They're useless. They don't help me. There were a lot of people complaining, which immediately was a yellow flag. And I forwarded those messages to my contact at Underground FPV, and I watched what happened. And I'm not going to get into a ton of details about the specifics, but the bottom line was I wasn't satisfied that they didn't meet my standard of the responsiveness that I would have liked to have seen. So that's one reason I'm not really pushing the NV14 much anymore. There are other reasons, but if you have updated firmware on the Nirvana, it is pretty nice. But the problem is, number one, you got to get the Nirvana, and there are too many people having trouble ordering it and getting it delivered to them. And then I think there's like one dude who's doing firmware updates for it, and kudos to that dude. But it just doesn't feel like a radio with the kind of... So if you're depending on... What if that dude gets hit by a bus? God forbid. Now who's gonna support your radio? You just have a radio that has no support anymore. And I just I don't like that. So Nirvana, fantastic radio, fantastic hardware. I wish that if OpenTX started releasing, if the OpenTX program started releasing support for the Nirvana, I would feel a lot better about it. I wish they would. But I just don't feel good recommending a product that just is hinging on this one guy. So, anyway. Okay. Drew, let's get a couple more super chats out of the way. Drew Little FPV, thank you for $2. Can we meet Joshua from the future? You will in about 10 minutes. Gernhardt Reinholzen, thanks for €2. What's with the Next G1? Long out, but all finally. The RC Tech Next G1 is a high definition system. R2 Tech. Next G1 is a high definition system. Yeah, this is it. I have tested it in the past and have not. The reason you haven't heard me talk about it is because it has not been good. And I have. Here's the thing. Alex, get the transitions right, Alex. Stop going to my desktop. It's my face cam, please. Sorry, guys. If there's a product that is terrible, my default action is to simply not mention it. If it's terrible, I'll just talk about something positive and give it a chance to get better. Because if I make a review that says product X sucks, don't buy it, that's it. It's in trouble. It may never get the chance to improve. If there is a product that is massively hyped and it's terrible, then sometimes I go, guys, this is not, do not. Because I don't want you guys to waste your money. But if there's a terrible product that you've never heard of and you're never going to buy, you're not wasting your money. It's only if I see that there's a very, very popular product that is at risk of making you waste your money that I feel obligated to call it out. So in the case of the R2 Tech Next G1, when they sent it to me, I tested it a year ago and I tested it 6 months ago. And in both times it was, long story short, no good. And I was like, well, let's give them a chance to get better. They say that they fired all their engineers. They hired a whole new engineering team. And now it's much better. And if they send me one and I test it and verify that, I'll be impressed. But for now, I don't have anything to say about that one. The ones I've tested were not very good. Peter Island, thanks for $2. Want to up my game, 4S to 6S or FreeSky to Crossfire? Crossfire. The difference between 4S and 6S is much smaller than the difference. The difference between 2.4 gig and Crossfire, you'll just never think about RSSI ever again. You'll just fly and you'll be good. Whereas 4S to 6S, it's pretty incremental. Crossfire, 100%. BUHEFPV, thanks for 10 CHFs. I don't know what those are. Hey, Joshua, love your vids. Why'd you remove... I'm not going to... I appreciate it, Buechi, but I'm not going to talk about that on the stream. Here's what I'll say. Buechi wants to know why the Armatan frames used to be on my website and now they're not. All I'll say is nothing has changed about Armatan's frames. My opinion of their frames is the same as it always ever was. If you like Armatan frames, keep using them. That's what I'll say about that. Dexter Johnson, thanks for $2. What's the best night cam for night flying? If you really want night flying, you're going to want to look at something like the Runcam Owl or the Night Eagle, a true night cam. But the problem is that those cams are basically unflyable in the daytime. So you really got to commit to it. The Runcam Eagle, which is my personal favorite camera, is very sensitive and quite good in low light, but is not a true nighttime camera. MC's Creations, thanks for 10 reais from Brazil. Is Frank Barajas a patron of yours? I've been missing him lately. Frank Barajas, isn't that Ghost Branch FPV? Frank, is that you? He was in the chat. Isn't that you, Frank? I can't remember people's real name versus their like Discord names. I think he's in the chat now. I'm not sure. But yeah, I haven't seen him lately either. I don't know anything about him. Okay. Oh, Joe Graves FPV, thanks for the reminder. Foxeer Cat is a good nighttime camera. Thank you, Joe. That's a newer one that I was going to overlook. I really appreciate you mentioning that. Foxeer also appreciates you mentioning. Ghost Branch is Andre Hunsler. Sorry, Ghost Branch. I also haven't seen Frank Barajas, but, you know, people go away, they come back. It's no big deal. Dark Diver points out the foxier cat has a very small field of view. Okay. Steve Canso says, what's the best way to send you money without YouTube or others taking a cut? Honestly, Steve, you can send it via PayPal. If you send it friends and... I don't know about that. They may take a cut, but it's okay if they take a cut. They get... just, you know, don't worry about it. You can send cryptocurrency to... I have up on my website, I have a page, Support Me. And if you're into crypto... I have, sure, here, send me Bitcoin. Go for it. I have crypto addresses. I guess that's the easiest way for anybody to directly send me a payment. But there you go. No, Alex, that's not the... Oof. Wow. Let's see, Venmo. I'm actually on Venmo. Let's see here. Cat is a cool name for a nighttime camera. Low-Tech FPV wants to know if R9 has better penetration than 2.4 gig. Yeah, 900 megahertz is going to have better penetration than 2.4 gig. Best drone in the $180 range, Durak Berkos. I'm going to check the price, but I think I know the answer. Oh my God, why can I not search for that? Best drone in the $180. Well, it's $204, but it's a damn good drone. Go to the China. I bet the China warehouse is cheaper. There you go. Without receiver, with RXSR, what's it called? That's with the receiver. This is a great drone for around $200. Very good. Very good. I'm working on my review of it. It was supposed to come out this week, but then Bitefrost came out, and there you go. Have I tested the Emax Eco motors? Not specifically, but I have no problem recommending the Emax Eco motors just based on Emax's reputation and their price. Techie Ganesh M6 or M8 charger. I just looked at this earlier on the live stream, Techie Ganesh. The M6 is $40 and has a touchscreen. The M8, but it's only 150 watts. The M8 is $40, doesn't have a touchscreen, and is 300 watts. So, I mean, it's just a casual look, but I'd take the M8, I think. Oh, Ghost Branch FPV is talking about... You're right. Ghost Branch, I did not know that your U had an umlaut over it. It is Hunzler. Hunzler. How do you pronounce the umlaut U? It's not... It's U, isn't it? Is it? Andre Hunzler. Is that better? Matthew Archibald. Here, this is a good one. Matthew Archibald in the pleb chat. You seemed pretty positive about Bitefrost, which surprised me. Everyone beta testing it on Facebook said it sucked. So it's easy to just take a product and shit all over it, post your review, and get that. That's, to me, that almost feels... I'm not going to say lazy. I want to say lazy, but I don't want it to sound like I'm accusing other people of being lazy. So I'm not doing that. But personally, speaking for myself, because I talk about my personality, when I look at a new product, even a great product, the very first thing I do is I think about what I hate about it. And I think that makes me a good reviewer. And it makes me like if you want criticism on your product, show it to me. You could show me the best, and I'll be like, oh man, did you have to do that though? And only after I've lived with it for a little bit will I then go, oh, you know, there's other things I really like. So if I went with my first instinct, every single one of my product reviews would be me just shitting on every product, talking about how it sucks, and that would be the end of it. So when I get a product like Bitefrost, which has... Compared to the DJI system, it's just, let's be honest, it's just worse. From a pilot's perspective, it's just worse. The picture doesn't look as good. The range isn't as good. It has a ground station. The advantages of Bitefrost are a little bit intangible, like that you believe that the existence of Fat Shark is good for the hobby. That it works with your goggles that you already have, except some of you don't. So when I sat down to review it, I always try and review a product from the perspective of who is going to like this product and what are they going to like about it. And help that person find the product. And who is going to hate this product and what are they not going to like about it, and help that person avoid the product. So I don't think I was positive about Bitefrost. I just tried to highlight the positive things about it, of which there are some, and expose the negative things about it, of which there are some. But a lot of people just got Bitefrost and went, oh, this sucks. Let me ask you this. If DJI didn't exist and someone gave you Bitefrost, would you think it was better than analog? I would. I definitely would. The picture is... I think that the camera actually is not fully living up to its potential. It really does look like a very, very good standard definition image. I don't actually think that it is a full HD sensor, although it could be. That's my guess. I think that that's a prototype camera that they will get better. But in terms of the stability of the signal, it's way better than analog. I would prefer to fly that compared to analog. But DJI just knocks it out of the park. But if I just go, this sucks, just buy DJI. Let me ask you this. For everybody out there who's saying, wow, you were surprisingly positive about Bitefrost. If I had done that review and gone, this sucks, just buy DJI, you guys, God. Wow. Would I have done my job as a reviewer? No, I would just be a DJI shill, which I get accused of being anyway, so screw you. So I just was trying to be a professional and do my job as a reviewer, which is to share with you the pros and cons of the product. Yeah. Kyle K wants a raw Bitefrost clip. I guess I could do that. Ion FPV says, or Matt RC says, my only issue is people who believe it's open. It's not. Well, I feel like it's more open than DJI because HD0 is an independent company, and HD0 will sell those VTXs and chipsets to anybody. So anybody, if I want to make a JB system, I just buy the minimum order quantity from HD0 and I sort of develop it. Whereas DJI, there's no competition in DJI. There could be competition in Bitefrost. Foxeer could start buying up HD0 gear and release a Foxeer version of Bitefrost, and that competition is good for us. So it's more open than DJI is all I'll say. Yep. Okay. It's definitely not open source. That's for freaking sure. Louis Lima wants to know if it's worth using BL Heli ESCs with iFlight KISS FC. I would not use BL Heli ESCs with a KISS Flight Controller because KISS Flight Controller doesn't support BL Heli pass-through. And so you will have a very big hassle trying to flash and configure the ESCs. I wouldn't do it. It can work, but I wouldn't do it. Jake H. asks, is there a setting in Betaflight where it will auto-level and throttle down on signal loss? Yes, there is, Jake, but you shouldn't use it. Betaflight has the ability to, 1, activate auto-level mode, and 2, go to a fixed throttle percent when you lose throttle. Here's why you should not use that. The first reason is that the throttle value that you set, it's just a fixed throttle value. So if you've changed the weight of the quad or if you've changed props, the quad may not descend like you expected it to. So that's no good. Number 2, I am not comfortable with a quad descending under power without any kind of control. When I lose signal, I want it to immediately become a rock and fall. Because if it is descending under power and it hits a person, the PID loop is going to freak out and a person could be hurt. That's not a risk I'm comfortable with. But the third thing is that the accelerometer on a lot of flight controllers actually loses level throughout the course of the flight. And most people don't know this is happening because most people are flying acro mode. But what will happen with some flight controllers is you'll start and it'll work and it's level. And then as you fly, it will slowly lose level over the course of the flight. So what could happen is you fail safe and your quad, instead of going, which is what you imagine it'll do, it could go. So don't do that. If you fail safe, the quad should just shut down and crash. The real question is, why are you fail safing? You should generally not be fail safing on a regular basis. That means you're pushing range too much. If you need to push range so much that you're fail safing, you should be thinking about upgrading to Crossfire. That's what I would say. Bike wants to know, what do you think about a World Cup race event, the same track all over the world? Well, isn't that what MultiGP does? They have regional qualifiers with the same track all over the world. Ion FPV wants to know how my 3-inch build is going. Did you finish? Ion FPV, I haven't finished it. It's been interrupted. It got interrupted because I thought that there was going to be a lot of interest in the DJI HD build. My DJI videos were doing so good. Like, I was getting 3 to 5 times more views on my DJI videos. And by the way, guys, the fact that I didn't just go, okay, this channel's 100% DJI now. I mean, I'm committed to analog and to the fact that not everybody can or wants to buy DJI. But like, I was like, the DJI build is going to kill. And it didn't. It did terrible. The analytics on it were terrible. So I guess the takeaway is that people don't want to build DJI quads. They just want to buy them. Shocker. I should have seen that coming. But I interrupted the 3-inch build for that, and then Bite Frost came out, and I really want to get back to it, but I haven't finished it yet. Let's get some super chats out of the way, and then we'll take another pass through the Discord. Capstad, thank you for $10. Have a beer on me. You do a lousy job as a shield. Thank you, Capstad. Tanker H, $10. Hi, help me please. Pitch roll and yaw works good. When I try to give it throttle modals, 1 and 4 work good, but 2 and 3 go to 100%. Tanker H, the issue there is your board alignment is incorrect. So the flight controller is not facing forward. Your motor mapping is incorrect. In other words, maybe you didn't connect the motor 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not in the correct positions because you got the wires out of order. Or your motor direction is incorrect. Those are the 3 things that can cause that. Tanker H, I can help you troubleshoot this more off the live stream. If you want to message me on Facebook or email me, I'll be happy to give you some more detailed help. Buechi, CHF is Swiss francs. Thank you very much, Buechi. Okay, let's get to the Discord. Hello again, patrons. Take a swing through. The patrons in the Discord are always just chatting amongst themselves. And it's hard for me to find the questions because they're just like, they'll have answered the question by the time I swing through. But anyway, let's do it. Let's see what we got. Sergeant Mudflaps. Sergeant Mudflaps, didn't we answer that? Sergeant Mudflaps, I'm pretty sure I answered that earlier in the chat. Maybe you missed it. I'll type it into the chat, Sergeant Mudflaps. I got your question earlier in the stream. Sergeant Mudflaps. There. Okay, I tagged Sergeant Mudflaps, so he gets the answer. No problem. Propular Mechanics in the Discord. Thank you for being a patron, Propular Mechanics. Did you ever actually do any testing to prove that using a throttle limit scaling actually increases throttle resolution, or is it just a farce? Using the 1/4 and 3/4 stick positions as points of reference and measuring the counts at these positions, both before and after, it resulted in a max deviation of 10 counts and never increased the resolution in that range. Well, Propular Mechanics, I think you have an interesting point. And by the way, Propular Mechanics, huge shout out for doing actual original research and testing. I love it. I love it. It really speaks to me. I don't think I ever said that it increases resolution from the perspective of like the underlying mechanics. It's a fact that anytime you introduce a throttle scale, you lose resolution in terms of the underlying numbers. Now, it's possible that let's say that the underlying resolution of the throttle channel is 2,000 points, right? It's like 2,000. That's the you get it. Well, let's say we reduce that resolution by 10% or 20% or whatever by introducing a throttle scale. Well, that's still probably more. How much resolution do your fingers have? That's the question. So let's say, here's a test. Put the throttle at 50%. Now do that 50 times and measure the actual value that you're hitting. Or I don't know, because we don't go to arbitrary throttle resolution. My point is, what if we looked at a guy who was hovering the quad and we looked at the micro movements of the throttle? How much resolution do your fingers actually have? And my argument is that for a typical pilot, if you use a throttle limit to you get more resolution from your fingers, because you can only make so small of a movement with your fingers. So even though you lose resolution on the underlying channel, you gain effective physical resolution in terms of what you can do with your fingers. And that's just a fact. I don't need to prove that to you, because when I fly a tiny whoop on 2S in my house, I can barely keep from hitting things. But then I put a 50% throttle scale on and suddenly I'm a great pilot. That's all the proof you need. Robert Landrum has a great point. Speaking to Tanker H, who is having the problem with his motors spinning up weirdly. Robert Landrum points out, when you connect your 4-in-1 ESC to your flight controller, the pinouts are not all the same. You can't just plug any 4-in-1 ESC into any flight controller. You need to check the pinout. Am I going to review the Apex frame? Asks Pitboss. Pitboss, there's a thing I've started doing that I think is really fun, where I go and fly other pilots' frames, and I test them by trying to copy their tricks. And I crash, and then then their frame. Well, I mean, ideally their frame doesn't break, and then it's just a fun thing. I would love to review the Apex frame. I would love to make an episode like that with Mr. Steele. Ooh, I just had this idea. Now, I'm not saying he would do it, but I've joked about trying one of his quads, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, come on." Maybe he would do that episode with me if it would plug the Apex frame. So maybe Pitboss. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool content. And then I could try to copy his moves, and we could see how bad of a pilot I am. Okay. Propular mechanics. Oh, I see. I got it wrong. Propular mechanics. Gotcha. All right. Back to the plebs. Hello, plebs. Pitboss, you could build one for me to test. That's cool, Pitboss. I appreciate the offer. I mean, I'm going to hold out for Mr. Steele, though. Now that I've got the idea, I could just ask him, but I'll shout him out on the stream instead, because that's how YouTubers talk to each other. Mr. Steele, let's do it. Just like I did with Stingy that one day. He does a trick, I copy the trick. You bring 2 Apexes, 2 of your custom Mr. Steele build that you sell for $1,100. How dare you? I'll fly it. I'll review it. I mean, here's what I want to do is, when I reviewed Tax Frame, people were like, "That's cool, but I kind of wish you'd just done a straight review of it." So what I'll do is I'll record a studio review of the frame, and then we'll go to the field, and I'll try and copy Mr. Steele's tricks. If he's down, I'm down. Yeah, exactly. DJ Pop, it'll be a full KISS build. That might be tempting. DJ Pop, you know what? You're going to talk me into doing this, because I think it's really crass, really sort of tasteless, when one YouTuber just drops another YouTuber's name just for the clicks. If I go and I do a video with Stingy, then obviously I'm putting Stingy's name in the video. When Mr. Steele flew the max amps battery, I said to him, "Do you want to fly it? You care if we make content? Is it okay?" I basically said, "Is it okay if I name drop you? Because I don't want to. I don't want to like. I think if you just like are dropping people's names, if you're just some dude and you manage to get Mr. Steele in your video, name drop him. But if we're like both professionals and we're peers, I don't want you to feel like I'm like just name dropping you for clicks. I want to be friends first. I don't want you to just anyway. But if I were to build a Mr. Steele Kiss Apex, I mean, he's got a build video. But if I were to do a build video with let me tell you, any video with Mr. Steele's name in the title gets a lot of freaking hits. So, yeah, maybe worth it. People are always asking me to do Kiss build. Eli Horth in the plurb chat wants to know, what VTX would you recommend? TBS Unify Pro HV or iFlight Force 1 watt? What's the iFlight Force? What is that? I've never even heard of that. Where's the iFlight Force? Long range 1 watt VTX. iFlight typically makes good gear. I haven't tested this one. They typically make good gear. I would say that the Unify Pro HV is like twice as much. But it's a really solid choice. You're not going to go wrong with it. If you're looking for a budget one, I haven't tested this one, so I'm going to pass on this. I will say iFlight usually makes good gear, so I'm like 51% in its favor, if you will, just based on the fact that iFlight makes it. But the one that I think is, if we go to my FPV Know-It-All, the website, best FPV equipment, video transmitters, the one that I'm sort of on in terms of price per performance is the Rush Tank. I think this has really good, really solid RF output, really good transmit power, good feature set, and pretty sort of middling price. $35. This would be my pick. I think. But between those two, Eli Howarth, I would probably go with, I mean, you're asking about a $50 VTX versus a $25 VTX. They're not really the same thing. Do you have $50? Then get the Unify. Dean, let's talk about that. Dean in the Discord says, thank you for being a patron, Dean. $1,100 for a Mr. Didn't I do this on a previous stream? We're not going to go down this road, but I just want to say, I mean, if Steel, here's what you got to think. How much is your time worth? How much is Steel's time worth? Let's say that a guy like Steel charges $1,500 a day to go shoot a commercial for Red Bull or BMW. Did you know he got to be in a BMW commercial? Look up Mr. Steele BMW commercial. You find it on YouTube. Let's say he charges $1,500 a day to go do that. I don't know what he charges, but that if BMW asked me to come be in a commercial, they won't. I mean, look at this. They won't. That's what I would ask. $1,500 a day. And if you think that's unreasonable, that's actually pretty fair. I mean, for a commercial shoot, that's a reasonable price. Now, instead of shooting a commercial for Red Bull, Mr. Steele spends a few hours building a quad. It costs him $600 in parts, and it takes him 3 hours of labor. If he does the math and he says this quad costs $1,100, more power to him. And I'll tell you what, every time he posts those things, they sell. So if he feels like his time is worth whatever and people are willing to pay it, more power to him. I don't begrudge him that at all. I know one guy, I'm not going to say who it is. I know one guy out there in the world who has bought 3 Mr. Steele aliens. By the way, if you buy 3 of the Mr. Steele aliens, and not all at once, he bought one, he crashed it, he lost it, he bought another. By the time you get to the third one, Steele will start offering you a discount, I hear. Just what he told me. It's only $900. I don't know. But he just loves him. He says the best flying quad I ever owned. If you got the money, more power to you. I don't hold it against him at all. Here's the thing, though. Julder in the Discord, Julder says, yeah, the price is understandable. You literally get the smoothest flying quad in existence with all of the top-notch hardware. Never mind that it was built by the Mr. Steel, which has a lot of value to people. There are people out there who want my they're like, will you sign one of your crashed quads and send it to me? I'm like, really? Oh, I don't know. But the problem is that as soon as you crash it 5 times, it's no longer the smoothest flying quad in the world, is it? So, I mean, you do get a great thing out of the box, but since you're going to destroy it anyway, I'm not sure I would want to pay $1,100 for it. Dean says, yeah, but a trained monkey with a soldering gun can put a quad together. I know, Dean, but here's the thing. This is the way the world works, man. I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's fair, but it is a fact. Somewhere out there, there's a person in China who will build a quad for you and charge $2 an hour or whatever it is. That, because of the world we live in, that's what their time is worth. I'm not saying that's what their time is actually worth as a human being. I'm saying that's what they can get for their time on the market. When Mr. Steel sits down to build a quad, his time is worth more because he can charge more. And that's just a fact. Like, if I go and say, Jack Black, he's got YouTube, he's doing all this crazy stuff on YouTube. Hey, Jack, you want to build a quadcopter for me? I'll pay you whatever you want. Is he going to ask $20 an hour? No. He's got other shit he could be doing. People ask me to repair their quads. I'll talk about myself. I don't talk about Mr. Steel or Jack Black. People say, hey, do you have a service where you fix quads? And I'm like, here's how much I can make by making YouTube videos and by helping people with their questions on email. And here's how much I would have to charge you if I was going to build your quad instead. And the real difference for me is when I build a quad, I'm helping one person. When I make a video, I'm helping 2,000 people. So I go, okay, you want me to stop helping 2,000 people with their problem and focus just on you and spend 3 hours building a quad just for you. Okay, how much am I going to charge for that? It's you wouldn't want to pay that much. That's just where my values are. So, yeah, even Mr. Steel says you should build your own. Yep. Alrighty. /7, thanks for €1 in the chat. Capstad, thanks for 10. Oh, we already got you, Capstad. No more super chats have came in. You should learn to build. You should learn to build. Alrighty. We're coming up. Well, we've passed the hour. We've passed the hour. Wow. Wow. We are past the hour. I didn't even do my mid-roll plug. That's okay. Dean says the irony of all this is I'm a huge Steel fan. I think his time is worth it. I just love building and repairing my own stuff. I'm the same way, Dean. If you want to buy one, I mean, like, the idea that you could have like, how good is it? I kind of want to know, but not for $1,100. But you're going to need to learn to build on your own. It's a fact. Ciati FPV in the chat. Hey, guys, in case you don't know, Ciati FPV in the chat is Aaron Ciati. Ciati is super knowledgeable. I pick on him for his knowledge about micros. He knows more about 3-inch and smaller quads. Ciati knows more about 3 inches and smaller than anyone I know, if you know what I mean. Because I'm definitely talking about quadcopters, and he's in the chat. He's going to be doing a live stream starting at 3 o'clock when I finish up. So when my live stream ends, we'll post a link to his live stream, and you can keep doing. I think he said he had a video he's going to be editing on stream. So very glad to have you in the chat. And if anybody has questions about micros that you normally wouldn't ask me because I'm still sort of coming up about micros, but definitely paste it. Own drone, spam in the chat is one of the only things I will just put the hammer down, my friend. Knut Christensen says, have you tested the OpenTX nightly build for the Jumper T16? I have not tested that, Knut. I tend to stay away from nightly builds because I like to make content about finished stuff that helps you guys use it. I'm looking forward to Jumper T16 being officially supported in OpenTX. Really looking forward to it. Good morning, Crispin Odell. Subay Haitam, why are classic goggle styles more preferred than box type goggles? I think it's because they're smaller and lighter and easier on your face, and they look cooler, although they don't look that cool, but they look cooler. Shalom, new subscriber, just got my geyser yesterday. Thank you, iDrone, Udrone. Thanks for $2. Siati says he put RPM filters on 5 quads yesterday. You guys, how did I do news of the week and not mention, wow, I think I felt like news was going on for too long and I wanted to start getting to questions. How did I do news of the week and not mention that Betaflight 4.1 came out? What? Yes, Betaflight 4.1 is officially released. And let me tell you what, when Betaflight 4.0 came out, there were some problems with it, and a lot of people stayed on 357. Betaflight 4.1 is the one. If you're still on 357 or 3.3 or whatever, time to upgrade. 4.1 is so damn good. It brings so much to the table. Number one, it just flies freaking good. Number two, it has ARP. Oh, I almost did that transition right, and then I second-guessed myself. 4.1 has RPM filters, which is a new kind of filtering that makes more quads fly amazing than ever before. It has, like, Crossfire, RSSI, and link quality now are worked natively. You don't have to use an aux channel anymore. There's so much good stuff in 4.1. Only thing about 4.1 that I freaking hate so far is this VTX tables thing. When you first get it, Smart Audio doesn't work and you have to set up a VTX table. The upside is that once you set up the VTX table, you have your exact power levels and stuff. It matches your video transmitter instead of like before where sometimes they didn't match up. 3 Chic FPV, Radix has a 4.1 build out. I know that because Alex Vanover posted about it. He's running it. Maybe it's an internal build, but I don't think so. Vanover posted about it recently. I'd like to show you guys this. This is Alex Vanover flying Betaflight 4.1 on the Brain FPV Radix. No, 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 no! No music, no music. I don't want to get copyright struck. Oh, wait, it's off. It's muted. Okay. I can hear the music, but you guys can't. Okay, so first of all, screw Alex Vanover. He's stupid fast. But I was really entertained because a week and a half ago, I posted Betaflight 4.1 RPM filters are so freaking good. Alex Vanover loves them. And it turns out he hadn't tried them yet. Alex was saying, I misremembered a conversation that had a couple people in it. Alex said, Betaflight, he was talking about, I love the Radix. The Brain FPV Radix is so freaking good. And the very next comment was someone saying, yeah, and RPM filters are amazing. And I misremembered that Alex had said that. So I took it back. I took those comments down. But then, and in fact, Brain FPV got a little mad at me because Alex just switched from Flight 1 to Brain FPV as his flight controller sponsor. And they were like, why are you saying that he loves RPM filters? He loves our flight controller. And I was like, I misremembered. Sorry. That's not exactly what I said, but that's kind of what anyway. So then Alex, like 2 days ago, Alex is like, what's this new RPM filters thing? And I'm like, oh, Alex, you got to try this out. He tries it out. He comes back and he's like, oh my God, RPM filters are so good. I was like, damn it, why did you say that last week? I would have not had to apologize and take my comments down. Oh, Hate Eternal Maver wants to know if 4.1 is still worth the upgrade from 4.0, even if you're not using the RPM filter. Well, first of all, why wouldn't you use the RPM filter? It's supported on BL32 ESCs, and for about $5, you can get support on BL ESCs. So, I mean, you should use it. Is it still worth the upgrade? It's still pretty good. There's so many other things under the hood that just make life a little easier. Like for example, like the Crossfire LQ and RSSI if you're using Crossfire. I still think it's worth the upgrade. They've done, there's another thing, Feed Forward 2.0. I'm not going to get into all the details of Feed Forward 2.0 here on the live stream, mostly because I don't know them yet. But they've improved the way that Feed Forward works, so you get much better set point tracking. I think 4.1 is just, yes, go for it. I will always say, if you have a great flying rig on 4.0 or 357 and you just don't want to mess with it, if you have a great flying rig, just stick with what you got and enjoy. But I'm more positive about 4.1 than any version of Betaflight that I can think of, much in the past. Chamer in the Discord, thanks for being a patron, Chamer. Wants to know if the Radix Lee is any good or stick with the 30x30. Chamer, if you have a frame that takes a 30x30 board, I don't know why people are putting 20mm flight controllers, and especially 20mm ESCs. 20mm ESCs with the smaller FETs, I don't care what the rating says on the box. There's no way that a 20mm ESC can have the voltage and current handling capacity of a 30mm ESC if they're properly designed. So if you have a frame that takes a 30mm, I would use a 30mm. Somebody in the chat or the Discord, why are you putting 20mm ESCs and flight controllers in a 30mm frame? Well, it's lighter. How much lighter is it? Really? I don't know. Will JESC ever be free? Asks Linux123. I mean, that depends on Joe Lucid. If Joe Lucid makes it free, then it'll be free. But the thing is, Joe Lucid spent a ton of time working on the JESC firmware. Remember that the BL Heli devs are basically done with BL Heli S. They're working on BL Heli 32 because that's just where they're putting their efforts. Because BL Heli S is open source, somebody like Joe Lucid can come along and modify it to make. If it weren't for Joe Lucid, you could not run RPM filters on all your microquads that have BL Heli SESCs. You're screwed, and that sucks. Because microquads are some of the ones that benefit the most. Aaron, back me up here. they back me. I lost my train of thought. Crap. I had to scroll through the chat and I lost my train of thought. Microquads benefit the most from RPM filtering. So Joe Lucid decided he was going to put his time and energy into developing this code. He decided he wanted money for it. That's his call. That's entirely his prerogative. If he makes it free, that's up to him, but I hope he doesn't. MC's Creations wants to know if there's a problem about JESC and open source licensing. Here's the deal, MC's Creations. Joe, the argument that I think that Joe Lucid makes, I'm not quoting him, but what it seems to me like he tried to do is he modified BL Heli so that it has a plug-in architecture. That code is still open source. Then he wrote plugins for BL Heli that are closed source. The GPL has some allowances for that kind of thing. For example, if you have an operating system that is open source, you can have that is GPL. You can have closed source device drivers. Some people I talk to have made the argument that what he's doing is not actually compliant, that he's kind of just hand-waved it. I am not qualified to answer that question, and frankly, the only way to really answer that question would be to sue him and win in court. So, the question of if what he's doing is legal will never be solved because no one's going to sue him. So then we have to ask the question on a personal level, are you okay with it? When Flight One, at the time it was Race Flight, when Race Flight claimed that they rewrote their whole code base from scratch. Raceflight used to be open source. Then sort of the current sort of Flight 1 guys came along, and they basically closed the source, and they claimed that they rewrote the whole code base from scratch in like 2 weeks. And that just didn't pass the smell test. Okay, I'm summarizing it. I'm not trying to dig up old stuff. But basically, to me, it didn't pass the smell test. And I was like, I am never okay with somebody taking an open source resource and just closing it off and then continuing to distribute it. You don't get to climb the open source mountain via paths that other people blazed for you. And when it's not even climbing the mountain. You don't get to ride the ski lift gondola up to the top of the open source mountain and then just close down the ride and make everybody else hike up the mountain on their own. That's not fair. I'm not okay with that. But what we've got here is Joe Lucid wrote original code based on, was it touched by the BL Heli? I don't know. But the RPM filtering stuff that he wrote was completely original. So I'm fine with him closing it off and charging money for it. I don't feel morally like I feel like he's done anything wrong. RR123RR says it's illegal to close copyleft license code and modify it. Depends on the license, right? RR123RR. This is GPL we're talking about. There are other licenses out there that work differently. Is it possible to change the Jumper T16 background? Yes, it is. Yeah. Did I get my 3D printers yet? No. I'm starting to order 3D printers and do some stuff on 3D printing. You know how I am. It's going to be 3 months before you see the first content about that. Just, I take a long time to get going. Let's see here. So that's the bottom line, guys. That's the bottom line for me. Whether what he's doing is illegal, I think it could be argued that what he's doing is a violation of the GPL. Only a lawyer in court could make that argument. But ethically, I'm fine with what he's doing. Ethically, I'm fine with what he's doing. I'm not okay when somebody like Free Sky gains success by releasing products based on open source code. And then when they become hugely popular, suddenly they try and prevent other people from benefiting from that same code. I'm not okay with that. But I am okay with what like Joe Lucid's doing. UAV Tech in the chat says Joe is going to make his plugin more board. What is more board? Is that a typo? It will clearly not be anywhere close to a GPL violation. His plugin is completely written by Joe. He's the only one doing RPM code, period. The argument that I heard someone make is that if you look at the code, it's just a jump. It's just a jump to a different position in the code or whatever. And that a simple jump like that isn't enough to count as not being part of the code base. I don't know if that's true, and I don't care. And I want to be clear. My personal stance on this is not purely pragmatic. It's not, because some people would say, well, it's okay when Raceflight closed source because they're just, you know, Flight 1 is so good, I don't care. I mean, if that's your position, so be it. My position is that if you benefit from an open source project, it's not okay for you to then prevent other people from also benefiting from that project. In this case, Joe is building his code. It ties into BLLES, but his code, the RPM filtering code he's working on, didn't in any way benefit from any code that anyone else other than him wrote. That's the bottom line. Alrighty. No more super chats? Oh, whatever. How about the Discord? FNT in the Discord, thank you for being a patron. You guys, I have a Discord server in case you just got here. I have a Discord server, and I sporadically monitor the Discord server during the course of every day. and during the live streams. If you want to join the Discord server, you can do that by becoming a patron. Patreon.com. You can give me as little as $2 a month and get all the benefits of being a patron, which are mostly just you feel good about supporting my work, hopefully. There's a link down in the video description to that, and I would love to have you. I always say, support me at whatever level you feel like I've earned. Nothing makes me happier than when someone says, geez, Joshua, I've been watching your videos for the last 3 weeks. I spend $14 a month on a Netflix subscription, and I've watched more content of yours than I have Netflix content. You've saved me so much money by helping me solve problems. I thought I had a bad ESC, but you showed me how to troubleshoot it. I thought I almost bought this one product, but it turns out your review helped me. All these things. Nothing makes me happier than when I imagine people thinking these things. And then they say, so I'm happy to be a patron at $5 or $10 or $15 a month, or even as little as $2 a month. That's where I want you to be. I don't want anybody to feel pressured. I want you to feel really happy about being a patron and like I have completely earned it. And when you feel that way, sign up. That's how you get in the Discord. So then there was a question in the Discord. FNT asks, I need a new transmitter and I'm still kind of new. Do you think the Jumper T16 is worth the extra money over a QX7? That's a tough one, FNT, because the jumper is $160-ish, $150, $60. I can't remember the exact price. The QX7 is about $110. QX7 is a hell of a deal for $110. It is everything you could ever need from a radio. I know professional top-tier pilots who fly a QX7 to this day. With the T16, you get the advantage of multi-protocol, but a lot of people are just going to fly free sky and not need the multi-protocol capabilities. The T16 has a bigger screen, which is certainly nice, but not mandatory. I think as somebody just starting out, if money's tight, the QX7 is a great choice. The other thing about QX7 that would make me hesitate would be if you thought you were going to go with Crossfire, you have to do a hardware mod to the QX7, and a lot of people are not going to like having to do that mod. Some people destroy their radio. Pardon me, guys. I got the hiccups. Some people even destroy their radio by doing the mod, so you got to be a little careful there. Let's see here. What else? Is there any way to install a multi-protocol module inside the Tyrannus? Haschenberg, I think it's possible, Haschenberg. Here's why I say that. I bet you, I mean, the T16 is based on OpenTX. The Tyrannus is based on OpenTX. I bet you that when Jumper developed the T16, they didn't modify the interface to the radio board. I bet you could get a multi-protocol module into the Tyrannus. However, I don't know if the plug is the same. It's been so long since I've been inside my Tyrannus, I'm not sure whether it would just plug in. Maybe I can find a picture. Tyrannus antenna mod. Let's see if I can find a picture of the inside of a Tyrannus. Here's an old video I did. Hang on. Here's an old video I did. Maybe I can find a picture inside of what it looks like. Hang on. Oh, is this it? Yeah, so, no, it's going to be over here. It's this plug that I want to see. That's the, no. Oh, yeah, no, it's not going to work at all. So here's the Tyrannus. Here's the backboard, which has the radio on it, and here's the actual radio module. It's completely different. Oh, wait. Oh, is that? I don't think so. I think it's really iffy. Maybe you could do it, but I think it's going to be a real challenge. Let's see here. Alrighty. Yeah, FDS Quad Adventures. People are talking in the chat about the Larva X. The Larva X is an okay quad. I thought I questioned its durability in like a high-speed head-on crash, but I agree with you 100%. Quad Ventures, the built-in the SPI receiver versions, the range is terrible on the receiver. I would definitely get the XM Plus or the RXSR version, whichever one they sell. The range is going to be way better. I would absolutely do that. Alan Lagerquist is wanting to know my opinion of the DJI radio. The DJI radio, the DJI controller for the DJI FPV system, it's good. It's good. It's got very nice gimbals. It's got good build quality. The battery lasts forever. It doesn't have the same configurability of like an OpenTX radio. So basically, you just get one switch per aux channel, but that's not the end of the world. What I would say, though, is if every single quad you will buy and build is going to use the DJI Air unit, then you should buy the DJI radio. It just is so simple to build. You don't have two sets of antennas to deal with. And the range of the system is the same as the range of your video link, which is okay. But if you ever are going to build a quad with a non-DJI system in it, including micros, don't use the DJI controller, because then you have to have two controllers and it's a total waste. So my personal setup is I use a regular controller with Crossfire and FreeSky in it. And on my DJI quads, I just put Crossfire in them. And I just use the same transmitter for all of my quads. So I don't have to take two. When Drew shows up at a Rotor Riot shoot, he's got two flight bags with him now. One for his analog gear and one for his DJI gear. And I'm like, not going to happen. I don't want to do that. So right now I travel with one controller and two sets of goggles, which is still not the best, but at least I don't have two controllers. Stratton Ford, you finally made it to a live stream. Have I tried Falco X yet? Yes, I have a video about Falco X on my channel. I had a Falco X quad going for a while. It had a schizo frame, and then I broke the arm. Ouch. There you go. Do I think telemetry on the radio is worth it? Asks Luis Lima. Yeah, I like telemetry on all my quads, especially with the Jumper T16. Oh, hang on. Let me use my new... Yeah, this is... Oh, I'm going to break something. I'm going to bang it around. Hold on a second. Check this out. Whoop! I got a new camera for this live. I didn't get it. It's a GoPro, but I realized I could just hook up my GoPro, and oh, can't see it. There you go. Especially on the T16, where you've got all this space up here for widgets, and you can customize it. I haven't done this on this model, but you can put extra widgets here and all over the screen, and so those widgets depend on telemetry to work. And especially if you've got like the Jumper T16 or the Horus X10 with this big screen, the ability to put all the widgets up here is super cool. So that's nice. Does the T16 do Lua scripts? Yep, it absolutely does. You can't see because the camera's exposure is too bright. But, oh, hang on. You got to do this. And then page, crossfire. Yep. Well, it doesn't have I don't know, my Crossfire module in. It totally does Lua scripts. It totally works. The Betaflight Lua script doesn't work yet. They haven't updated. They're working on that. So Betaflight Lua script still doesn't work because the script hasn't been updated to recognize the T16, not the other way around. The T16 is fine. Black Raids FPV, thank you for 50 Swedish kroner. Why don't you do the iFlight analog mod on the DJI goggles and carry only one goggle? Maybe. I have the hardware to do the analog mod on the iFlight goggles. Let me show you what in case anybody doesn't know what he's talking about. In case anybody doesn't know what he's talking about, we're talking about this. Let's see. Where's the mod, though? iFlight RC. Yeah, here's the video. Hello? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? Yes. Is this the ultimate goggle? The question is, how is the latency? Some people say there's a little bit of latency. I don't know. I have the hardware, but I haven't made the video yet because I've been busy. But I am going to do it, and we're going to see how it is. This could be the ultimate analog goggle because the screens on the DJI are freaking good. The only thing about this that gives me a little bit of pause is it doesn't have a built-in DVR. The DJI goggle has a built-in DVR, but it doesn't record from the analog input. Oops. So you would need a third-party DVR. I guess that's not the end of the world. Jamie Whitehead asks, why didn't DJI do that from the factory? This is my theory, is DJI, it's the same reason that Apple took the headphone jack out of the iPhone. Why? Did the iPhone really need to be 1/10 of a millimeter thinner or whatever? And people wanted the headphone jack. Why did Apple take it out? Because Apple is like, F you, the future is wireless. Get there. Get there, plebs. And it's the same thing that you see Tesla doing with electric cars. They're like, F you, electric cars. No. No concessions. And DJI, I think it would have cost them 20 cents or whatever to put an analog receiver in the goggle. It might have cost them $2 to put a really good analog receiver in. I don't know, I'm making those numbers up. But they were like, no, analog, dead, forget it. Digital, DJI. That's why they didn't put it in. Nope, Jamie Whitehead, that is just not how they do it. The transition is throw your analog stuff in the trash and buy DJI forever. That's their perspective, as I see it. They're not interested in helping you. I still want to fly some of my analog quads sometimes, DJI. Can't you help me? No, screw you. Get on my level is what DJI thinks. No, they don't want to help you transition. They want you to transition away forever. That's my yeah. Will I do the M9 gimbals mod on the X9 Lite? I don't know about that. D. Barbarine says, I hear the DJI screen has a latency when inputting analog. I'm looking forward to trying to find that out for myself. Wiccan FPV says, when you do that mod, the rapid fire stays on even when you're digital and can cause interruptions. Interesting. That'll be interesting. Certainly would be easy to put a power switch in, though. It would be trivial to put a power switch in. You just drill a little hole in that 3D printed thing and rig a power switch. Not a big deal. Let's see. We got a conversation going on in the Discord. Swamp Dog wants to know, is it possible to use an F4 S-Bus pad for F-port? No, it's not possible, Swamp Dog. The F-port goes to a TX pad. So you need to use and it needs, on an F4, it needs to be a TX pad with a bidirectional inverter. So that if you have a SmartPort pad, like on the JBF4, there's the telemetry pad for SmartPort. That will work with F-port. If your F4 flight controller doesn't have a SmartPort telemetry pad on it, you probably can't do F-port unless you do the uninvert mod on your receiver. At that point, you could use any UART TX pad, but not the S-Bus pad. On an F7, it doesn't matter. F7s handle inversion natively, so if you have an F7 processor, you can use any UART TX pad to do F-port. Kyle K points out you can run F-port into an RX pad if you don't want telemetry. Okay, fair enough. Swamp Dog, you could use the S-Bus pad, but you wouldn't get telemetry. All right. Good thing the stream's almost over because I'm out of drink. It's coming up on 10 minutes to the hour. My stream will be ending in just about 10 minutes. And don't go because Aaron Ciotti, Aaron, A-H-R-E-N, but pronounced like A-A-R-O-N. Aaron Ciotti is going to be doing a live stream over on his channel. And I assume he is going to start posting the link here in my chat. But don't go. I'll be hurt. Don't go just yet, but if you want more live streaming for your afternoon, I think he said he was going to be editing a video, so you can watch Aaron Ciotti finish editing a video. He is super knowledgeable, super, I just think he's a great guy. Aaron needs your help this week, too, because, here, let me tell you a little story about Aaron. Aaron, I hope you're okay with it. It was posted on Facebook, so it's not like I'm telling secrets. Aaron used to be an instructor for autocross. Autocross is where people race their cars around a parking lot with cones set up so that when you crash, you don't destroy your car. It's a really, really fun way of getting into auto racing. And he is, from what I hear, he's an amazing driver and an amazing instructor. And he has a little Miata that he rips the shit out of and loves. Well, when he was driving, he recently moved from New Jersey down to FPV Mecca. I apologize. I shouldn't say that. Somewhere out there are Muslims who will be offended that I'm taking the name of their holy city in vain. To the holy city of FPV, Atlanta. He moved, and in the middle of that drive, the engine on his car blew up. And he said, the guy who did the tune on the engine said he had done it before. That's never what you want to hear. So his car for months was stuck in wherever it blew up, just at a mechanic shop somewhere. And here, he's posting a photo in the chat. Hold on. And I said, man, you got to get your car fixed so we can go driving sometime, you know? He was like, yeah, it's going to cost me $2,000 to get my engine fixed. And I was like, well, you know, that's a lot of money, but okay, get your car going. He had to put a new engine in it. So for $2,000, that's pretty cheap to put a new engine in a car. Well, last week he gets his car back, and the very week he gets it back, so the good news is, here's the good news. It's not actually totaled. I mean, if you were to ask an insurance company, they'd say it's totaled. But actually, it's mostly body panel damage, and like the radiator mount is cracked and needs to be welded. But the car will drive again. But what I'm saying is, Aaron needs your support. Aaron needs your support more than ever. Aaron doesn't have enough views on his YouTube to do super chats yet, but he does have a Patreon, and he's super active on it too. So Aaron Ciotti's live stream coming up in just about 8 minutes whenever I go off the air. Aaron, you got to share. Aaron, surely you have videos somewhere of you driving. I've never seen video of him driving. Post a YouTube video of you driving. I want to see it. Yeah, Adam in the chat says, hope there isn't significant frame damage. Aaron says it was a low-speed collision. Basically, what sounds like happened is while they were driving, he was just kind of like coasting ahead, and the guy, he wasn't paying attention, and the guy in front of him slammed on his brakes, and he just sort of rolled up underneath the bumper of the SUV. So probably the frame's okay. And he says a 20-year record of no accidents now broken. 20 years is pretty good. 20 years is pretty good. Ciotti says, anybody that thinks FPV is expensive, don't get into motorsports. You are not kidding, Ciotti. For the price of the tires on my car, and my car has performance tires on it, not because I race my car, but because when I bought my car, I just checked the boxes for the performance things because I'm a middle-aged man and I wanted to own a sports car. Don't judge me. For the price of the tires on my car, I could build a new quad. Now, the good news is, unlike racers, I don't go through a set of tires every weekend. I know some of these guys who drift. They do drift racing, and they put the cheap tires on their car because they just go through a set every weekend. And these guys are like, yeah, no, quadcopters are cheap. Motorsports, expensive. Let's see here. Sub to Ciotti FPV. I'm letting that one through. Noob Gone Wild is looking for help. Noob Gone Wild, if you don't get help in the chat, you can reach out to me. You guys are always welcome. Let's start wrapping up the stream, and I'll do that by reminding you that I love getting on these live streams with you guys. I love hanging out, but obviously a live stream is not the place to get in-depth hand-holding help. It's more like just for casual questions and just hanging out. So everybody, I try and help everybody I can. If you need help with your quadcopter, probably the worst thing you could do is ask in the comments of my videos, especially older videos that don't see every comment. It's just how YouTube's notification system works. You can leave comments on videos and I'll do my best to help you. You can also just email me or contact me on Facebook Messenger. Just hit me up and I'll do my best to help. If you decide to join my Patreon, you can be a member of my Discord. I already gave you the spiel about that. I always prioritize the Discord chat, which just means you get answers from me an hour earlier in the day, because I also go through all my emails and all my Facebook messages and do my best to clear those out every day that I can. Pretty much every day. So if you need help, definitely hit me up. Alan Lagerquist just apologizing for some. Sorry, Bardwell. What are you apologizing for? Oh, what kind of car? Camel Master? I have a... How do you not know? Do you not know? Where's my car? No results. Where's my picture? There it is. I was looking for this picture. Here it is. That's my car. Josh Elam says, for the price of my tires, I could buy a Mr. Steel build. I hope you're talking about all 4 tires, Josh, because if each individual tire costs $1,100, I don't know what you're doing with your life. What frame do you recommend for less than $60, Dr. Buzz? Dr. Buzz, there are a few frames on my shopping list for less than $60. Let's hang on a second. I'm going to throw another one out. I need to get this added to my list. Ah! Yes! 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 Oh my god, you guys, this is so sick! Look at this! What? Yeah! Steel says, let's do it. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna fly I'm gonna fly Steel's Apex. Sweet. But that's not what I was going for. Hang on. Frame under $60. Let me throw you this one. Facebook Messenger is so crap, dude. Oh my god, it's so crap. Let me throw you this frame for less than $60. This is a new frame that just came out. It's $40. It's the Xylo Freak Style from Get FPV. And one of the coolest things I think, now this is the slammed version. One of the coolest things I think about it is this, they extended these sidewalls, so you got a little bit of a bumper to help protect your camera. I think that's a pretty clever thing. It's little things like that that really attract me to a frame. Here's the full-size version, if you don't like the slammed version. It's $40. I'm going to be adding it to my website eventually. It's not there yet, but definitely worth a look. All right, guys. It is 2 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to wrap up the stream, and let's go find Ciotti. Link. Let's go find Aaron Ciotti over on, if you want to go on over there and check out his stream. Is he live? Are you live yet, Ciotti? Let's see. It doesn't look like he's live yet. RPM filters and Amazon affiliate links. RPM filters and Horde stream. Ciotti, where's your stream, dude? Are you up? Are you up? Post the link, my friend. Noob Gone Wild. No, Noob Gone Wild. You can ask in Discord if you want. You could hit me up. How could I be more clear? Hit me up. You can email me, and you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger. Those are the 2 places I do most of my support. If you decide to become a patron, you can also ask on Discord, but you do not have to be a patron. I want to be so clear about this. I hate it when people think I only talk to people if they pay me money. That has never been my MO. When I first started doing this, wow, I'm really worked up. When I first started doing this, I got so much information for free. I sort of resolved to never lock my knowledge behind a paywall. It doesn't mean that I will never charge you for anything, but it means I will always be helping people for free as much as I can. And so you can always ask me questions. Facebook Messenger or email are the 2 places. The Discord is patrons only, but there are still plenty of free places to ask questions. Ciotti is posting the link to his live stream in the chat. I'm going to be wrapping up. I'll let him post it. Post it like through. Spam the chat, Ciotti. Post it a few more times for people who haven't seen it yet. The TBS Source 1 is good, Noah. It's good. It's very good. For $40, it's very good. Nick Sebring says, yeah, but is that Xylo Freakstyle worth a crap? I haven't actually seen it yet, but Get FPV has a pretty good track record. I know the guy who designs their frames. I'm not going to shout him out because I think he prefers to remain private. So based on the reputation of Get FPV and the frame designer, I would feel completely comfortable recommending the Xylo Freakstyle at a price of $40. You know, And if anything goes wrong with it, I guarantee you Get FPV will stand behind it. So there you go. Is 660 grams heavy? Alex Vanover would consider it heavy, but that's pretty typical for my freestyle builds, Beastmaster. All right, guys, it's the top of the hour. I am going to finish up. I will see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for my second weekly live stream. That's going to do it, though. I'm going to let you guys head on over to Aaron Ciotti, and I will see you tomorrow. Happy flying, everybody.